Hello, today is April 7th, 2016. My name is Melissa Kowalik and I'm joined by Jonathan Bisson, who is a U.S. Army veteran who served in Afghanistan. Hello, Jonathan.
Hi.
So my first question for you is, where exactly in Rhode Island did you grow up and what was the town like?
I grew up in Barville, Rhode Island. It's a small rural town. Fairly big with a small population. Just to give you an idea, my graduating class of high school was 160.
Wow.
So a really small town. Not much diversity at all. It's pretty much 99% white. That's pretty much it.
Okay. Now, when you were a kid, did you dream about going into the military or did you have other careers and aspirations in mind?
Honestly, as a kid, I had no idea what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's essentially where I came up with the idea to join the Army. I was single, had nothing going on with my life. I wasn't the best student in high school, so I decided to join the Army.
Okay. How did your family and friends feel about your decision to enlist?
I don't think they were surprised by my decision, but I feel like my mom took it the hardest. So I was the baby leaving home, so I was the youngest. So I think that really struck her. My friends and family they knew I could do it. That's pretty much it.
You said you were the baby of the family, so did you have like older siblings?
I do. I have two older siblings. I have an older brother and an older sister.
And they didn't go into the Army at all?
No, the only one who served in the Army was my Pepe, who passed before I had gone.
Mm-hmm.
Passed before I was born. And he was the only veteran in my family that I know of.
Where did he serve?
Not sure. He was in military intelligence. We know nothing about his military service.
Oh, really?
Just that he was in the Army and that was it.
Okay. What was basic training like?
Basic training was interesting. It was a new experience for me. However, I played football in high school, so I felt like my football coach was a lot harder than my drill sergeants were. So for me, it was pretty easy. I had been pushed around like that before, and it really wasn't a big thing. I got some thick skin, so. But physically demanding, obviously, I was tired, so. And it was an experience. It was kind of cool to do some things that I'd never done before. Kind of get out of my comfort zone, see some people that I'd never seen before, and just get a bunch of experience from all over the world. So.
Was there like an average day for basic training camp? Like, did you have kind of a schedule you did a lot?
Every day was scheduled.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd wake up, pretty brutally sometimes. Usually early in the morning, 5, sometimes 4 in the morning. We'd get up, we'd go down to formation, they'd come around banging the trash cans like you see in the movies and stuff, and flipping your mattresses. You'd get up, you'd make your bed. You'd go downstairs for formation. They would go inspect your beds and your rooms and stuff to make sure they were clean and just, perfect. And then if you screwed that up, they would come destroy your bunk. You'd have to go fix it, and then come back down and inspect it again. And usually it was pretty good at that point. You kind of knew what was going on. And then you'd go to PT. You do physical training for an hour, and the Army has a set physical training, set of instructions for basic training. So you do that. It's usually an hour and a half. You come back, you shower, get in your uniform, go eat breakfast, get out of there. Sometimes you do some classes. It depends on the day. You do classes, training. You go to the range. You do a ruck march. Some things like that. You'd eat lunch. After lunch, you would do training or classes, eat dinner, go upstairs, and we usually got smoked after that, just for any reason that you could think of. And that went on until about sometimes 10 o'clock, sometimes earlier, and then we just kind of hang out and go to sleep after that.
Okay. Do you keep in touch with friends you have made in the military?
Yes, actually, a lot of the guys from my unit that I deployed with, I still talk to now. I got my bunkmate from basic training. I'm still in contact with him every once in a while. Yeah. But yeah, I'm very much in contact with the people that I've met in the military.
Are you close with them?
More close with the ones that I deployed with. It's kind of it's a certain bond that you get, watching each other's back and just making sure they're doing the right thing. You're kind of staying alive together, you just watch out for each other.
Okay. I see you were deployed in Afghanistan. Where specifically were you, and what was your role there?
We were in Regional Command East, which is on the eastern side of Afghanistan. We were right on the border of Pakistan, in a little town called Chamkhani. My role there was to provide aid station support for injured, sick, and trauma victims, if you want to call it that. That could come at any time. We kind of, we had a doctor over us. There was me and my superior. We were the aid station medics, and then we had the line medics that were with the infantry guys and went on patrols with them. So that was my role, just to provide medical support in any way that I possibly could.
So if people were injured in the line of duty and then they came back to you, is that what you were saying?
It depends. So on a normal day where nothing happens, some sick guys would come in. They'd come in with stubbed toes and some hematomas in their nails and stuff, and we treat that. We had basically like a little ER kind of deal. So we treat stuff like that. We'd also treat like sports-related injuries from physical training. And if anything did happen and there was a trauma, I was in charge of my table, which was where we treated our trauma patients. So I was the head of my table, and I directed other medics under me what to do and when to do it. So.
Did basic training help you for that experience at all? Like prepare you for that?
Absolutely not. I have to say, absolutely not. It kind of just gets you in a state of being mentally prepared for, kind of anything can happen. That's about it. I think that's the only thing basic training really did for me. Got me in a little bit better shape and mentally prepared me for the worst.
So, in regards to what you had to do, did you learn how to do it by observing others, or did you have a mentor who helped teach you?
Well, after basic training, you go to what's called advanced individual training. So that's where you actually learn your job.
Okay.
So that's where I learned to be a medic. So we went through EMT school. So we got certified as a basic emergency medical technician as a civilian. That's the civilian license. And then there's like two sections to the course. So there's the civilian side and then there's the military side. And that's where you learn to deal with more trauma and, blasts, gunshot wounds, things like that. And then after I got out of AIT, I went to my rail unit, which was the 101st Airborne Division, 4th Brigade, 1506 Infantry Division or Battalion. And that's where you really get it. In my opinion, you don't really get AIT. It's just kind of just the basics. And then you have superiors and peers that have been there for a while. So that's where I really got my training from. One NCO really, we had training plans. We did it every single day, and we kind of just got repetitions of patient assessments and certain things that could happen. And that's where it came from.
In AIT, did you want to go into like the medical field at all? Was that your decision?
That was my goal when I signed my contract. I wanted to be in the medical field so that way I would have something when I got out.
Mm-hmm.
That was definitely my goal. When I got to AIT, it was kind of confirmed. I just had a passion for it, and it's what I like to do. So.
Okay. Was Afghanistan like you expected it to be?
I think so. It was definitely a culture shock. I mean, coming from a small town and not seeing much, and then you go to essentially a third world country. It's different. What I expected, the people in the surroundings were what I expected. When I got there, I don't know. It was definitely shocking. The unit that we had replaced told us that nothing really happened while they were there, and it was going to be kind of chill. So it was kind of like okay, it's not really what I expected. I expected to go into war, and I thought it was just going to be every day pounding the ground, out with the guys and, getting the bad guys, I guess. So not what I expected in certain ways, but in others, yes.
So it sounds like you had a lot of downtime. So what did you do if you had any downtime?
Honestly, I slept a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I slept as much as I could. I worked out a lot. We had an Xbox there, which was kind of cool. We actually just started playing golf on Xbox. So yeah, it was basically wake up, eat, go work out, come back, do some medical training. Our doctor would give us classes and we would teach courses as well, and then maybe do some more work out some more after that, go eat again. And yeah, it was a lot of downtime. And at night I would go Skype with my wife, who I had met in AIT. So I talked to her until it was time to go to bed, and then I go to bed and do it all over again the next day.
Did your wife serve at all?
Yeah, she was actually a medic as well. When we got pregnant with twins, not long after we got to my duty station, and then she ended up getting out because she needed to care for our children. So.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. What was your understanding of why the United States was in Afghanistan? Did you agree with the mission?
Absolutely no idea. Absolutely no idea. We actually had a general come in and asked us if we knew what was going on. We said, honestly, sir, not a clue. And he was kind of infuriated by that. So he took off his rank, which is not something generals do. And he said, tell me like it is. What's going on? Like, what do you guys know? And we had nothing to tell him. We had no idea we were there. We were just told that we're going to go there, we're going to close down some fobs, and we're going to leave. That was that. So I guess, all we knew was, we're closing down some fobs in 7 to 9 months.
That's all they told you?
That was basically it. And they never really came out and said it. We just kind of knew that was what was going to happen before we left. But why we were going out on missions, why we were going to get, guys near the Pakistan border and stuff, and we had no idea.
What did you love and hate about being deployed in Afghanistan?
I'll describe my deployment pretty simply. It was a lot of just relaxed, chill time with bits of chaos. Honestly, it was better to be, it was more relaxed out there. Uniform standards are kind of relaxed, shaving standards are kind of relaxed. So, excuse me. A lot of the stuff that has to do with the actual military was the stuff that I liked because we didn't really have to do it, if that makes sense. So I guess if you were going to say that I loved one thing, that was it. What I hated about being in Afghanistan was the possibility of getting killed, and my buddies getting killed in an instant. That pressure it takes a certain weight on your shoulders. Like you're always thinking, you're always on watch, you're always, what is this guy doing? Where's he going? Why is he driving that truck down there? Why is he walking funny? Why did he just look at me like that? It's always a constant, is he going to kill me? The locals and stuff. So that, just constantly being on guard is definitely the thing I hated the most.
You described bits of chaos. Could you name maybe one chaotic scenario you had while deployed?
Yeah, we actually had a 107 rocket come and land on a building that was right next to the aid station. So we had a red light that was on the aid station at night so people would know where we were. Mm-hmm. And it seemed like they were aiming for it. So the rocket hit the next building where, 30, 40 guys are sleeping. Nobody died, thank God. The guys whose bunk it hit were just walking out for guard. But there was a lot of shrapnel wounds. We had a couple guys that were pretty severely injured. Nobody died that day, but it was definitely an experience. There was a lot of trauma, I'd say. There was 10 guys that were pretty critically wounded. So
Wow. Would you describe that as your most memorable moment from Afghanistan?
Most memorable in a trauma, yes. Most memorable, no. My most memorable moment was I went on a mission to Bagram, which is the Air Force base, not that far from where we were. It was it was a 10-hour drive, but we go slow. When we got there, we had learned that an IED had hit back where we just came from on a patrol, and a couple guys died, and they got killed. So when the hero flights came in, that's when they bring the stretchers with the flags over them. They came in, and we actually had to receive the bodies off the stretchers, and we do a ceremony for them and stuff, and that was definitely my most memorable.
Wow. What obstacles did you face while you were deployed in Afghanistan?
Honestly, we had done some training, so I think the first trauma that we had seen was just eye-opening. It's different when you start to touch real human blood and start to stuff gauze in a real human body. It's a little different. So I would definitely say that was the biggest obstacle. Just getting your hands dirty, essentially. And honestly, being away from family was a huge obstacle for me. That was tough. Leaving was very hard.
Is that what you missed the most from home?
Oh yeah. The little baby boys. I mean, I left when they were 7-8 months, and my wife was there alone with twins, so I don't know, it was devastating. It really was.
Did you get to keep in contact with your wife a lot and talk to her a lot?
Yeah, we talked every night that we could. Obviously there's some nights that you can't, whether that be due to missions or when somebody gets killed, you go on a blackout. You can't talk to anybody until their families are notified, so that way word doesn't get out. So it makes sense, and I think those were the scariest times for my wife. She had told me she had been on the NATO's website, checking to see who was killed and stuff like that. And we did talk. We got to talk a lot. Fortunately, I think it's a lot different from wars in the past. So it definitely helps. Because I was always in contact with her. I told her as much as I possibly could, without giving away positions and stuff like that. But yeah. I'm very fortunate that we were able to talk a lot, because I couldn't have made it through without her.
Was it over the phone, or could you Skype her, see her face to face?
Sometimes it was Skype, depending on the internet connection. It obviously wasn't what we have here, so sometimes it was very broken. But yeah, we did have phone contact when we couldn't do that. So I'd have to call the Rhode Island National Guard, and my wife, they would connect me to my wife's phone. So.
What were your interactions with the Afghani locals like? If you had any interactions.
I did have some interactions with them, because they had certain jobs on our base. Excuse me. We had a water guy, the trash guys. They're all locals. So I mean, from my experiences, they're kind of friendly, but mysterious. And I don't know if that just has to do with my thoughts, could they kill me at any moment? So you're kind of skeptical with them. But otherwise, those locals were pretty friendly. But when you're out in the towns and driving through their neighborhoods, sometimes they throw rocks at you. Sometimes they love pens. The little kids love pens. So they'd ask for a pen, in their language, and I don't know the words anymore, but I did when I was there. So. But yeah, there's some people that they'll just be looking at you like this, and you're just what's going on? And so yeah, there's a lot of friendly people over there, but there's also people that hate us and don't want us there. It's understandable. Yeah,
it's unnerving a little bit.
Yeah.
Interacting with them, did you have a translator, or was it just kind of you try and figure out each other's languages?
So yes, we did have translators, but obviously there's times where you don't have one. So we treated some of their guys when they would get injured too. We'd go over to their aid station, because we we had like a shared base with the Afghani army. And we'd go over there and treating their patients was pretty difficult without a translator, because you don't know what they're saying. They're just screaming, you don't know what's going on. You kind of just gotta go off your vital signs, and that's it. You don't really have much else to go off of, so that was difficult. But most of the time, if it was like a conversation, we had a translator. Like if it was like critical that we talk, it was a translator. But if it wasn't, it was kind of just like, how are you?
Yeah.
They don't know what you're saying, and kind of just smile at each other and wave. But
Do you miss anything about the military?
do I miss anything about the military? I do and I don't. I don't know. It's kind of, you always know where you stand in the military. You know how to move up. You know what you need to do on a daily basis. You know what you need to do. You know how to move up. You know where to move up. You know who to talk to, what to do, and when to do it. And you're told that from the day you get in basic training. When you get out, you're kind of just like, what do I do now? And you kind of gotta, you're not told what to do anymore. You gotta figure it out on your own. So it's a sense of stability. It's good and bad. I think a lot of veterans go through that where they're like, crap, where do I stand now? And they kind of got to put their feet on the ground without knowing where the ground is, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that would be the thing that I miss, the stability of it, knowing where you stand.
Okay, so I guess going off of that, what was the transition from military life to student life like?
It was interesting. I mean, when I got here, I was so we had moved, and I was like enrolled at Salem State, and so when I got here, I kind of like had to hit the ground running. So I had like a couple weeks where I kind of had to get all my books together, get all the stuff that I needed. I didn't know what to expect. When I got here, it was kind of, honestly, it was like high school, but you do your own thing, which is a lot better from what I experienced in high school. Like, I didn't like people hounding me about my homework, but now that I'm not hounded, I actually do it. So it was definitely a change. It was easy and hard at the same time, just because I didn't know what to expect, and I kind of had to just go right after it. There was no like smooth transition. It was just like jump from one to the next. So
Were you planning on being a student? Like when you were in the military, were you thinking about going back to school?
when I got back from deployment, I started to see the guys that were injured that I had treated back in Afghanistan, and they were going through some, a lot of surgeries, a lot of therapies and stuff. And I came upon the field of occupational therapy. And everyone I talked to said their occupational therapist was great. He provides me so much relief, and he really knows what he's doing, and so that's the field I ultimately decided on. I started shadowing occupational therapists while I was in the military, and I just grew a passion for helping people without being involved with trauma. It's just like a low stress kind of therapy. And that's essentially what I wanted. I wanted to get out of the emergency kind of medical field and get back into the 9 to 5 and kind of just see your patients and do your thing. And they're not like, they're wounded and they're hurt, but not to a point where they're screaming. They're kind of just trying to get better at that point.
Yeah. So why did you decide to go to Salem State?
Actually, it has a lot to do with veterans benefits. I was living in Rhode Island, so if I were to go to school in Rhode Island, the money is not, it's not as much as if I would come here. So, make the 2-hour trek for, $1,000 more bucks a month, and it made sense to me. So that's why.
And are there any other veteran benefits you get through here?
They pay my tuition and fees, for my GI Bill. You get a monthly housing allowance, and that's it. There's obvious other little things, like we have a veteran center, where we get free printers. There's a couple computers up there. There's some books that people have loaned, and so if you need a textbook and it's there, you can take it. You can go up there, get coffee, get water, whatever you want. So there's little things like that. There's always a support group within the veteran community, which I think it's very good. Excuse me. But yeah, as far as other benefits, financially, not really. That's pretty much it. It's pretty cut and dry at that point.
Priority registration.
Yeah, that too.
That's always a bonus.
Yeah.
So, have you made a lot of friends on campus that are also veterans?
Not really. Just, a few just in passing. I go to the veteran center, hang out, do a paper or stuff. I'll get a cup of water or something, but not really. I kind of just do what I have to do and go home. My schedule's pretty full when I'm here, so I made it that way so I could get back and help my wife with the kids. So I think as someone who's not married, it would be a little different. I would be here 4 days a week, and kind of just slow and relax, but I just get it all crammed in and then I go home. So yeah, I think if I was single, it would be different, but I am married, so I like to spend time with my wife. So
Yeah.
any chance I could get, I go home. So
okay. How do you like school here?
I like it. The professors are really good, from what I've seen so far. I am moving though, and at the end of this semester, I'm going back down to Tennessee. I own a house down there. I bought a house when I was in the military, so I'll be finishing my degree down there. But from what I've seen, this is a really good school. As far as your professors go and the education you're actually receiving, I really think that there's something there. A lot of the professors, that they actually care about their students learning, not just did you hand in your assignment? It's just more, do you get the concept? Mm-hmm. And I don't know, it really is a good experience to get some of these professors that really know what they're talking about and they really want to help you. They help those who want to be helped. And if you don't, it's kind of your own thing. You're paying for school, so if you're not going to do it, I'm not going to force you. Which is, I guess college as a whole, but
yeah.
Yeah, from what I've experienced, school years, it's good. I'm doing well. My professors really get it. If I need help, they're always there. My advisor is always very helpful and stuff. So, yeah.
Do you tell people that you're a veteran, like your professors or fellow classmates?
I think it comes up in almost every single class.
Really?
Because I have experiences that the student coming out of high school does not.
Yeah.
So, when I tell them, you should really shadow your profession that you want to go in, and just don't pick business as a major and say, oh, I want to make a lot of money. That's not very smart. So then it ends up coming out, in certain courses. I'm taking a social psych course, and it comes out a lot there because I have a different social experience than most students. I think it comes out, and it really does in every single class. It ends up coming out.
Do you feel a kind of certain disconnect between you and fellow students because you've had a military background and most students don't?
Absolutely. I feel like, I don't I feel like a lot of people don't understand what's going on in the world, so they're kind of still small-minded in that sense. And I was too, coming out of high school. That's why I really think that the military benefited me in that sense. I was really small-minded. I came out, I got a lot of experience, and I really think that you learn more from experience than you do from learning about facts in school. And every experience gives you a new learning opportunity, and I think that a lot of people don't have that yet. Mm-hmm. And it's understandable. They won't until they experience it. So I have a different experience that I bring to the table that they're not familiar with. So it definitely does, it drives a wedge between me and my fellow classmates. But I think they learn a lot from me, as well as I learn a lot from them. I left for the military right after high school, so it's been 5 years since I've been in school. A lot has changed. I mean, just socially, I mean, when I was in high school, Facebook just started.
What?
Yeah, so
Wow.
like it wasn't really big yet.
Yeah.
Like it was big, but not to the point where people were on their phones running into you like they are now. So, I mean, it's definitely different. I have a different, way to talk to people socially. I tend to stay off my phone when I'm, in conversations, and honestly, it does disconnect people. It really does, and that's I think that's mostly where the disconnect come from. My fellow students they all have their technology. But the human interaction is just not there. Where with the people that I grew up with, it is. So it was just different. So not to say that it's completely bad, but it's different, and it does drive a wedge between you. So yeah, I don't know.
Let's see. Do you notice any difference in who you are from before you enlisted in the military?
Oh my gosh. I don't even think I could describe the difference between my high school self and myself now. Besides the fact that I'm married, and we also had a little girl after I got back from deployment, so I have 3 children. So I'm married and have 3 children. That's the biggest change. So it's pretty drastic, and
I don't know what he wants me to do. He's like motioning for me to do something. I'll just let him in.
oh, the door, I think.
Yeah, I think he's locked out.
Sorry about that.
Not good with motions, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, could you repeat that?
Yes. Yeah, besides the fact from being married and having children, which I think is just a major life change. So
Yeah.
everything changes when you have babies. So, I mean, besides that fact, I know what I want to do. I feel like I have a purpose now, whereas in high school I had no idea what I was going to do. I was kind of carefree, I kind of just, went about my day-to-day business, just kind of really chilled and relaxed, and it starts to get serious when you come out of the military and when you join the military, shit gets real quick. So I think that's the biggest change. I'm a completely different person. I don't even know that person that I was in high school. I really don't.
So how do you juggle student life and family life? Because I noticed you have twin 3-year-olds, was it?
Yes,
and
twin
then you
3-year-olds
have
and a 1-year-old daughter. Yeah.
How do you do it?
Honestly, I leave it here. I try to leave it here as much as possible. So I cram it all in. I really pay attention to my courses. When my professor's speaking, I really gotta buckle down and just focus. Like every class, I just gotta tell myself, like, it's almost over. Just listen. And I take a lot of notes while I'm in class, and I get like an hour break, so I use that time to write papers, study. And yeah, I mean, I've tried to study when my kids are awake, and sometimes I'm able to, sometimes they're off doing their own things, but sometimes they're, scribbling on your notebook with your pen and stuff. So you really have to find a balance. You have to find a schedule that works. So if I have something to do that I can't have them around for, I wait till they go to bed. If I can't get it done in school, just got to do it. You just got to do it. I mean, I can't fail now. I got to do it. So I don't think that you can balance it. I think you just have to do it. So you find ways to do that.
Okay. There's been a lot of debate on the role the VA plays. What's your opinion on the VA healthcare system?
Oof, the VA healthcare system. I don't want to say that I feel like I'm entitled to healthcare. I am. I really do feel that I am, and anyone who's deployed or served in the military, I think should. I think it's kind of. I think it's definitely a broken system. I mean, my wife served in the military. She doesn't get veteran health care, so, and she served in the military just as much as I did. She was, taking care of my family when I couldn't be, so I would almost rather you give my family health care than me, just because I think that would really help these veterans getting out with families. Now they got to get out and find health care for their families, and it's just it's tough. It really is, especially when you're coming out and you don't have a job. So you want to go to school and use your benefits that they give you. You got to find ways to make that work. You got to find ways to get health care for your family on a pretty limited income. But I feel like it's broken. I mean, do I get the care that I need? Yeah, most of the time, if I got something going on, but I think I don't know, I think there should be more. I think dental should be included, honestly. And I think they should cover everything, Like we risk our lives for this country, and we come back and, they give us a lot, but if you start to get down into the individual circumstances, there's really not much leeway. So it's kind of, you did this for this much time, here you go. That's it. That's all you get. Nothing else. There's no individual care for you, if that makes sense. And I don't know. I think it needs to be fixed. I think it needs to be looked at. I think it needs to be redone. I think there's good parts and bad parts. I think there are a lot of bad parts for a lot of bad people. Well, not bad people, but like for different people that have different circumstances. So I think they need to focus on, and give some leeway for those individual circumstances. I don't know. I think that's the biggest change that needs to be happening, but the way I feel about it is broken and it needs to be fixed. It needs to be looked at more.
Okay. If you could do it all over again, would you?
Absolutely. Best decision I've ever made, hands down. It set me up. I got college paid for. I don't need to work a job and go to college, which is great. So, I met my wife in the military. We had children while I was in the military. I couldn't see my life going any differently, and I wouldn't want to. Everything's worked out for me. I found God in the military. Everything just changed for me, and all for the better. I own a house now. I'm 23 years old. Can't beat it. I got my college paid for. Can't beat it. I got a beautiful family, and you can't beat it. I would not change it for the world.
That's good. Would you support your children enlisting in the military?
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm not there yet, thank God.
Yeah, you got a while.
I would encourage them to see what's out there first. Really focus in, maybe even shadow while you're in high school. See what kind of jobs and occupations you want to get into, because, the military is helpful in a lot of ways, and I want to be that support system for my kids. I don't want them to feel like they have to join the military because they don't have another option. Kind of like I had other options, but you go to school as coming out of high school, you're in debt, you have nothing to show, nothing really going for you. You kind of just get into college, and you see it all the time. Kids just party, they skip school. I'm not doing that now because the military grew up. It made me grow up a lot. So I honestly don't. I want to be that support system for my children, but if they ultimately did make that decision, I would definitely respect it and support them any way I could.
If there was one thing you wanted the general public to know about the military or about veterans, what would it be?
A lot of veterans are at a different point in their life than most people. Lend them an ear. Talk to them every now and again. You never know what you could do for that person. You never know what they've been through. I remember being at the campus center one time, and I saw a veteran walk in with a service dog. She said, "Oh, she don't look." Somebody I overheard. They said, "Doesn't look like they're disabled to me." And I said, "You have no idea." I said, "You have no idea what they've seen, what they've heard, and what they've had to do." I really think that you shouldn't judge them. You should really listen to them, talk to them, take them seriously. Don't just pass them by and make comments like that. I really feel like in order to understand veterans, you need to talk to them. Don't just assume or be judgmental right off the bat. Just talk to a veteran and you'll really see where they're coming from.
Do you hear comments like that a lot? Just when you're
Honestly, that was like the only time I ever heard it, and I was really shocked. I was just like, wow, you know, where do you get the right to say that to someone or behind their back? But I don't hear a lot of it. I really don't. But I hear silence. I don't hear people talking to their veterans. You know, and I think they kind of see like, oh, maybe he's fucked up from the war. You know, excuse my language, but you know, nobody wants to deal with that, but they have to. Talk to them. That's all I would say. But as far as comments, I don't really hear that many, but it's also a bad way. I don't hear much positivity either.
Well, that was my last question,
Alright.
but if you have anything else you want to share, go for it.
I don't. That's pretty much it. I think that's